Hey guys, at OSReviews.com, this is a full video review of the Sharper Image Literati, which is an ebook reader. The Sharper Image Literati is a special ebook reading device because it has a full-color LCD display, as you can see here. It doesn't run on a dot matrix or a e-ink style monochrome display. Instead, it has a transflective, it's all in color, which means it's an LCD. More on kin with the tablets that we're seeing, like iPads and stuff like that, and more of a color display that you might see in cell phones and smartphones these days. And because of that, it opens up a lot more possibilities. For example, news and magazines, which allows you to see news and picture books and comics in full color, in their full glory, such as the New York Times, Popular Magazine. We can see all these pictures, books, and comics can load on here by the memory, and just a lot of stuff like that. It also opens up for possibilities of night reading, where you have a lot more modes to do, like just reading at night. You can take the backlight and reformat it because it shows full color. You also have a lot more fluency when you're visiting the App Store. When you're opening it, because e-ink screen, they have to shutter every single time they change a frame. So this doesn't have, of course, it's like a real tablet. The screen doesn't have any issues with changing and actually displaying new content every single second you navigate around. So it's going to be a lot more fluent in terms of navigation and doing the web. So it has a little bit of a better processor, and it's more on par with, again, a tablet computer in terms of seeing documents, in terms of news and comics and reading and just stuff in general. It doesn't flicker. That said, even with all these additions on mind, you have to keep in mind that e-reading should really be traditional, should really depend on what you're looking for. We posted an earlier video on our website that was actually shot a few months ago, where we compared LCD displays to e-ink technologies and what we preferred. And that's really up to you. If you're somebody who are saying, well, I just want to read at night, I don't want to do anything else, and I just want something that's portable, it's 21st century, I want something that is great for reading magazines, because I know I get a lot of subscriptions in addition to reading some books, and I just want to do a lot of stuff, then perhaps Literati is definitely a device for you. It connects to the web via Wi-Fi and just stuff like that in general. But if you're someone who's saying, like, for me, I just want to read, personally, like, as a reviewer standpoint, I think e-readers are just traditional because they're supposed to be like a real paper book, except it's for reading electronically, so you can store more books for a lot less in terms of weight. And I just want to read a lot of words, and words are just black and white, and they're great for my eyes. I don't have to squint at this color screen, which, you know, LCD screens kind of like computer screens. As good as it's going to be, I don't want to read on this for like 10 hours straight. I just want to get involved in the book and just keep on reading page after page after page. Then perhaps this is a device not for me. I want an e-ink screen so I can save battery just to read longer, just so I can read more books, so I can read in the daytime, in the light, or I can just take on a clip-on book light and just call it a day. Now, this device is obviously built for people who are wanting to do a little bit more magazines and comics, but that's okay. It still costs around $200, a little bit under, and you can definitely find this device for a lot cheaper. I know when we unboxed it a long time ago, this product, it was still new, it was $200. Now it's been discontinued, believe it or not, which shows that Literati and Sharper Image are not doing a great job on that. But still, the firmware looks pretty decent. You can find this definitely for around $50 now. That's really cheap. It's really, really cheap. Do some customization, and there you go. It's a full-color device. It's very different from e-ink and monochrome worlds. Below the screen, which is a 7-inch display, by the way. It's a matte display, which means that it's not going to be an issue to read in the sunlight. It's not going to glare. We also have a full QWERTY keyboard. The keyboard is great, kind of like the Kindle's keyboard, for entering text and searching for books. It's really tactile and easy to press. There's also a dedicated number row on the top. In addition, we've got a 5-way D-pad for navigating everything. Now, one of the biggest critiques I have for this device is the D-pad. It is so scrunched up and is so tight and hard to use. The D-pad is absolutely is just so small. See, my thumb can fit over it. You have to click on the sides, and it's a 5-way navigation toggle, which means that in addition to going left, right, up, and down for every book, because this is not touchscreen, you have to navigate so much through this menu system, which is pretty clean, but you have to do a lot of work here. You also have to use the OK button, which is on the center. You have to press down, so it's like 5 buttons in this tiny little square box, while they have so much room on the edges here just to fit in, extend it a little bit. I would have just preferred that so much. But nevertheless, the buttons are tactile. They're pretty easy to use, but they're just this button. And all the QWERTY keyboards are really nice. Just this 5-way toggle in particular is just cramped. Other than that, turning the pages, you've got capacitive buttons on either side. That's a great thought because it shows that the company knows that there's going to be left-handed user and right-handed users, which is great, and it responds fastly. The processor, again, is going to be a little bit faster. It's going to be updated by the firmwares, I believe. Other hardware notifications, you got a proprietary charger jack in addition to a mini USB for syncing information. We've also got on the back, nothing. On the top, our on-off button and our SD card slot. A thing to note is that this device is also pretty thin. It charges fairly fast. Unfortunately, though, battery life isn't as strong as you might expect, but it should last you through a few reads, especially on a plane or on a bus or on a car. It's going to be fine. The main menu is greeted by multiple icons on the top of the screen. It takes you from multiple lists, which are called I'm Reading, which opens up all the books you are currently reading, a library, which shows you all the books that you have. A thing to note is that the Literati comes preloaded with a lot of books. It comes with Alice's Wonderland, Adventures of Huck Finn, U.S. Constitution. It comes with Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, all these classics, and it comes with the Frankenstein, all these interesting and intriguing classics that's not bad to own at all. It's a classic, and it's just great that they come out of the box even with these color screens. Screenshots are pretty cool too, and that's something that we really appreciated. You can also, of course, download your free books. And that's a great part of having Wi-Fi. It connects this device to the App Store, which is a Kobo web store, and it just starts downloading books. And a lot of books aren't even costly. They're free books. You can just download and search what's new, what's trending in terms of free books, and you can start reading. That's definitely one of the things that you don't get a lot because some ebook readers don't have a lot of web connectivity, and some that do, like Kindles and stuff, the e-ink screen can get in the way of sometimes accessing content really easily. But still, this is a great technology for doing that. And news and magazines really do look great on the screen, and the processor does a nice job of rendering the screenshots and stuff. There's also a document reader. You can read some basic text documents and stuff you load by the SD card. There's also, of course, the store that we talked about that connected via Wi-Fi. So, let's just take a look at, if we open up a book such as The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It's loading, and it tells you that the book is loading by this little bar at the bottom, and then it tells you The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. As you can see, text and things look fairly sharp on the screen. Turning pages, the animations are fairly fast. The capacitive buttons are really sensitive by your fingers. That's another great thing. And then, this is like a quote you just saw then. Another great thing about this device is also preloaded with over 400 quotations by famous people in the works of literature. What that means is that when we're turning pages between chapters, if we're on chapter 19 to chapter 20, that might take 2 seconds to turn. While it's taking that really small second to turn, it's not too slow at all. By the way, while it's turning this tiny time frame, it doesn't just sit there and freeze. It shows you, it keeps on moving forward. The processor brings up a famous quotation that you might enjoy by a famous person that actually is a lot of wisdom. It's actually pretty entertaining to look through these quotes by famous people, and the celebrities really range, and they're actually really quality quotes. They're fun. A lot of people have these quote calendars. This device is loaded with quotes, and it just eases the transition times, which is something that's really cool. And with the continued firmware updates, things are just getting faster and faster, which is also nice. So, as you can see, reading text, the texts are pretty large. You can see everything pretty good, nicely, just like a book, really. It's of course, an extended book with the QWERTY keyboard, kind of like a Kindle there. But it's pretty easy to read. Just don't want to read for too long, like a screen. But text is bright, and you can definitely read it everywhere you go, and it's pretty enjoyable overall. Just to turn to pages and taking a look. There's another quote. And so now we're on chapter 1. Now we might be wanting to take a look at more selections and more features of this. There's also, we can press the menu key. The menu key takes up this screen. It tells you what chapter you're on. You can bring up a bookmark if we want to go home. If we just go home, it brings up a bookmark. It automatically saves what we're reading, and you can read multiple books at once. And since it's got a real processor and OS on here, it's definitely does a great job of bringing you up to speed on everything you're doing. So a lot of multitasking in terms of juggling books and stuff. That's pretty intense and pretty cool. With that table of contents, we have your previous chapters and bookmarks. We can also check the dictionary, like if we want to check a book, we can add a bookmark. We can highlight text. We can add notes. There's also, of course, a dictionary. If we want to do that, we bring that up. Press the left to close. Pressing the side actually closes the list, but it brings up the dictionary. Now, the dictionary that this device uses is a Merriam-Webster dictionary, as you can see here, which is a fully functioning, powerful dictionary. You can start type a word to get a definition. It just uses Wi-Fi and stuff to search up stuff. And it's really useful, just like a lot of ebook readers that we've seen before. Dictionaries are a great tool to have while you're reading. You don't want to do too much guessing or you'll never build up your vocab. It's just like coins in a bank. If we want to do something like astonished, you can see that a physical keyboard is really clicky and fun to use. And it should be able to bring up the words after it thinks for a few seconds, or I can also tell you similar words like astonish, astonishing. There's astonish. Let's see what the Merriam-Webster dictionary is thinking. There's a little circle on the top which indicates whether the device is thinking or not. That's also pretty cool, so you know what it's doing. I believe that if it doesn't have... this is something that it can do without Wi-Fi. So Merriam-Webster's dictionary is built right on that. This is a fully functioning dictionary and thesaurus. It tells you the part of speech, a definition, and pronunciation guides without using the internet or data feeds at all, which is a great feature. So you can just see astonish to strike someone with sudden fear with a full-on definition without having to connect to the internet. Another great feature. So if we go home, it bookmarks a thing, and we're back home. Can go back, and now it says I'm reading, which I'm currently reading here. Okay, so there's also libraries. There's newspapers and magazines that we talked about in the documents. Library, I'm going to basically skim over a few more books that you see that's included. It's also really easy to sync books. The OS updates it automatically. The whole update system is over the air, which is also pretty cool. It saves your books. It tells you what books you're reading currently. Inside of the library, it tells you your open books. Like on the side here, if we press the open books, it says Huckleberry and Finn. And by title, we can look at our books. Now, one other issue I did notice was that every single time if you completely let the battery die and you suddenly charge it again, it forgets all your saved information. Unfortunately, that means that you're going to have to re-enter your Wi-Fi connection every single time the device kind of runs out of power for real. That is an unfortunate feature, and it also kind of forgets your bookmarks if you let the battery run too long without actually charging it again. But if you charge it reasonably, like if it says, oh, you only have 5% remaining and you charge it, you'll be fine, just like an iPad. If you let the device fully and utterly run out of the juice, then you're going to come up with a few issues. Okay, here's a few more. There's a Legend of Sleepy Hollow. We've got A Tale of Two Cities, the Odyssey by Homer. We've got Moby Dick. We have Pride and Prejudice, and all classics that you can analyze, write notes in, search up unknown words and charters. Treasure Island and the works of Edgar Allan Poe. 2000. We've got 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Constitution of the United States. That's pretty cool. We also have Alexander. We have the Time Machine, Treasure Island, and Sherlock Holmes. So that's pretty cool and pretty fun. And of course, you can download your own books. I've downloaded a few books. I've downloaded the Light of Aden and by Karen, and that's a book I got free from the store, and it works really well, and it's fun to read. It's lightweight, so it's a nice device overall. The Literati is a great ebook reader, especially in its value. It's really inexpensive. It has a lot of firmware updates, and it's just something that's more closer to a tablet or a smartphone experience, which is great because we're now in the 21st century. It's slim, it's lightweight, it stores tons of books and extras right out of the box. But it also means that you have to really know what you're as a reader you want out of an ebook reader. If you're somebody who only wants to read, and someone like me who just wants to download book after book after book, then reading for too long on an LCD screen is definitely not for me, even though the screen is great and it's backlit and it opens up new book doors. But if you're somebody who subscribes to a lot of newspapers, to a lot of magazines, who wants to just read a few extras out of the box and take something on the airplane once in a while, the Sharper Image by Literati will more than please your needs. Thank you for watching here at OS and VTXReviews.com.